Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new cult. It is the Progressive Cult. And in preparation for my new book, which comes out November 15th, I will be exploring what I believe to be the three progressive cult strongholds: business, entertainment, and the university. Today, we talk about how the progressive cult has taken over business.
There's a certain amount of people that are in the progressive mindset that is essentially a cult.
So you might be asking yourself, why is it a cult? And the reason why it's an occult is because it is an unestablished religion that still participates in ceremonies such as sacraments and initiations and recruiting in order to survive. This is most evident through COVID, or like the COVID progressive cult as I call it, and ESG, which is environmental social governance.
There are no secular countries, just as there are no secular people. Everybody believes in something. All of us are born with the need to worship. The question is what?
Let's take them one at a time. Now, it's been said before that if you have religion and you take it out of your heart, it will leave a hole behind, which you'll fill with something else. And that's certainly the case with the COVID progressive cult. Everyone believes in something. In the progressive COVID cult, you need to keep up with ceremonies and sacraments in order to maintain membership as well as privileges that come with being part of the cult. These sacraments include mask wearing, vaccine jabbing, and shove a stick up your nose testing. The more jabs or more vaccines that you get, the more dedicated you are towards the progressive cult.
That fully vaccinated people are at a very, very low risk of getting COVID-19. Therefore, if you've been fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask.
Now, putting aside the fact that vaccines never even decrease transmissibility and it was never tested to even do that, it went from masks to, hey, if you don't get this jab, you will literally be fired from work. That's how the cult works. If you don't participate in the cult, businesses, because it's been infiltrated by the progressive cult, will push you out. Essentially, join the progressive cult or you have no more privileges and no more rights. Now, really quick, guys, I want to talk about the sponsor of this video, Gulag America. Gulag America is a premium apparel company that I've partnered with because they make fantastic shirts, hoodies, long sleeves. I'm especially excited about the hoodies and long sleeves as we get into the winter months right now because I love me a good hoodie. You're going to see me wearing them on future episodes. But I partner with Gulag America right now so that you guys can actually get 10% off with my code JoshCarr10 at gulagamerica.com. Again, that's JoshCarr10 at gulagamerica.com for 10% off. Again, I strongly suggest checking out those hoodies and long sleeves as we get into the winter season. It also works as a fantastic gift as we go into the holiday season for those patriotic aunts and uncles and mothers and fathers and all those family members. But go check them out again, gulagamerica.com. All right, moving on now to ESG, or environmental social governance.
If you're wondering what that means, you're not alone. Generally, it means that a company's first concern should no longer be how much money it makes, but rather how much social good it does.
So this leads to what is known as the Corporate Equality Index, which is essentially the cult's way to measure how progressive you are. And based on that index depends on how much funding you'll get in a business. Why would this matter? Because progressive investment firms such as BlackRock and Vanguard that own a plurality stake in most major companies control the flow of cash into these companies. Not woke enough? Then you don't get the investments you need. Bow down to the progressive cult and you keep your job as the CEO and receive the funding you need from BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street.
They are the three largest owners of the most Dow 30 companies. Overall, institutional investors, which may offer both active and passive funds, own 80% of all stocks in S&P 500 companies. The big three collectively held a median stake of 21.9% in S&P 500 companies, which represented a proportion of 24.9% of the votes.
Now the key, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer about this because sometimes we talk about the progressive cult and it can be such a downer, but the key with this is we need to fight back against ESG. What you're seeing right now is both consumers and companies that fight against this. You're seeing patriotic, conservative people start companies that just don't take funding from these big hedge fund companies because they don't want to be controlled by them. And that's what happens. Once you take big funding from them, they own a stake in your business. They can then basically give you an index score, and that will determine how much money you get. It will, because they have a majority stake or a plurality stake in your company, they get to decide who sits on the board of directors, who then in turn decide the executives in your company. As well as consumers, we've already seen in recent memory with Target and Anheuser-Busch that their stock prices plummeted, not because they were canceled as the progressives will do it. Canceled is when you take someone's job. But what conservatives have done is boycotted companies that don't stand for their values, such as when Anheuser-Busch puts out a man and calls him a woman, or for instance, when Target starts putting, little tuckaways for your penis for little boys when you're trying to act like a girl, things that normal people don't want to happen. Conservatives have acted appropriately by boycotting these businesses, and that's the power that we have. But it requires a real zealous effort in order for us to get that done and to fight the progressive cult, which is prevailing in our big business through big pharma, through the military-industrial complex, through big tech, as we've talked about today. And as we work on it together, we will get rid of the cult. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, if you got a little bit of value out of this video, I invite you to go down below, comment what you thought. I want to hear your thoughts and I want to engage with you in that comment section, as well as subscribe and like the video. Thanks, guys.